Welcome back to the Reading Corner here on Dreamers Defy. Of course, we are reading Vengeful by AJ Parnell. Man, this is a good book. I am loving it. And yes, there is a movie made out of it. And yes, we're going to be talking about that more as we get into this. But we're going to keep it separate. Like these are the Reading Corner. So we go through every chapter, every book, chapter by chapter. And right now we're doing Vengeful. There are 32 chapters in this book. There are also backup stories for each of the ghosts, so you get to know a little bit about who they were in life and how they actually got to their death. Um, it's really good. Are you rooting for the detectives? Are they going to get them in time? Are they going to save Abigail? Is she worth saving? They're going to figure out that Luke and Landon doing whatever they're doing, with Landon being a wanted man and Luke being a professor? I don't know. We're going to get to it right now. Chapter 27, Vengeful. Just kill me already. Abigail sat in the center of the cage, fuming as the baseball slammed over and over again into the side of the cage. Each blow echoed like a gunshot as it warped the wire mesh on all sides of her. Sitting there with her hands covering her ears, Abigail clenched her teeth. She had no idea how Luke was doing this. The ball seemed to come from all directions, hitting the cage again and again, but from different angles each time. Stranger still, instead of the impacts growing softer, they had actually gained intensity, the impact seeming to grow in strength as the wire reverberated over and over. Enough was enough. Abigail shot to her feet. Stop it! Stop it! For Christ's sake, stop! The worn ball hit the ground with a thud, then rolled to a stop before Abigail's cage. Shaking with rage, Abigail peered down at the ball, then back up at the cage, where she found the mesh bent with large dents the size of a fist. Oh, for fuck's sake, just how insane is he? Hell, she had to stop and ask herself the same question after the conversation she had just had with the ghost. She could only hope was here. Putting logic aside, Abigail had decided that if Luke was right for some insane reason, and the ghost of her former patients were here haunting her, then she would just pull out a ghost of her own. After all, if this theory of her ex-lover was correct, and ghosts were tied to objects, then she had one of the most dangerous ones tied to her with the spent cartridge she had fashioned into a necklace right after the shooting. No one, and she meant no one, knew that she had met with Kevin one day at the facility's cafeteria after one of his sessions with one of her coworkers. It had been so easy to feed the young man reasons for his anger, logical excuses for him to take that rifle to school and get even with the woman who had made him look like a fool. Little did she know that she would get to take down Luke Bolton as a bonus. After having her earrings ripped out, Abigail had decided, on the off chance that Luke had managed to resurrect the ghost of her former patients, and those salt rings were the only thing keeping them out, and it was also reasonable to assume they would also be able to keep them in. Thus, she had started acting as if Kevin's spirit was in the cage with her, promising him the moon if he would help her escape. Of course, she felt like a damn fool, sitting in the dirt, more than likely talking to herself, but then, just as soon as the first slash of that damn knife had come down on her arm and she called out for her invisible demonic hero, the knife magically dropped to the ground. Dirt flew, and then there was silence, or at least there was until that damn ball started hammering the fence again. To further test her theory, she had screamed a few more times for good measure, hoping to draw Luke out. If, in fact, Luke could see ghosts, and if she had somehow managed to summon Kevin from her necklace, then Luke was in for one hell of a shock when he stepped into the clearing. As if in answer to her musing, Luke emerged from the field, out of breath, sweat running down his handsome face as he hurried toward her. Curious, Abigail watched as he scanned the clearing. then visibly paled as he skidded to a sudden halt a few feet before the ember-laden campfire. How very interesting, Abigail thought as she watched Luke struggle to swallow. He appeared to be facing off with Satan himself, which, of course, if he were seeing Kevin, was almost as bad. Luke, what's wrong? Abigail asked, trying to hide the merriment in her voice. Mute, Luke took a few staggering steps back, his steps faltering as he kept his eyes fixed on the fire. The man was terrified. How wonderful. With Luke's attention on the fire, and more importantly, her precious backup ghost, Abigail inched her way back toward that small space she had created earlier. After having that baseball hammer away at the enclosure for half an hour, she was pretty sure the frame had been weakened even further, and maybe, just maybe, she would be able to pull it back far enough to get out of here. With Luke distracted, she might just have long enough to make that happen. Slowly, Luke inched back from the fire toward the truck. Stay back, Emily, Luke warned as he held his hand up to the space behind him. Kevin, we're not your enemies. The woman in the cage is. Quietly, Abigail knelt beside the small hole in the fence and began to dig and tug on the bent wire. Mumbling, Luke added, Don't listen to her. She doesn't care about you. If you do this, you'll be trapped here on this earth forever. Is that what you want? Hands covered in dirt, Abigail froze. Luke had better not turn Kevin on her. Even without a legitimate psychology degree, she knew the young man was deranged, even in death, as it would appear. Kevin, don't listen to him. I'm the one who can get you what you want, Abigail added, stealing a quick look Luke's way. Teeth grinding, Abigail managed to pull the wire free of the shallow hole, wiggled underneath it, and as quietly as possible slipped beneath it to freedom. Unaware of her escape, Luke inched back toward the truck, his eyes darting to a half-full bag of salt as Abigail made her way behind him. You don't want to hurt anyone, Kevin. Oh, honey, but he does, and so do I, Abigail thought as she picked up a shovel lying near the truck. First, she would bash Luke in the head, and if he was lucky enough not to die from the blow, she would make sure he suffered a long, painful incarnation, wishing he had. All she had to do was be patient long enough for him to take a few more steps back toward her. Beside Luke, the box began to rattle wildly. Luke turned and gave Abigail the opportunity she needed. Luke tried to evade her, but he was too late, and the shovel made contact with the side of his head. Dazed, Luke collapsed against the side of the vehicle, slipped off the end of the tailgate, crumpled into a heap on the ground at her feet, and blacked out. Smiling, Abigail looked down at Luke. Blood ran a path down Luke's forehead to the dry earth beneath him. Don't worry, sweetie. I'm going to make sure you find your damn peace. And that is the end of chapter 27. Did you see that coming? Did you think Abigail would get out of there and smack him with the shovel? What's going to happen now? Yeah, it's all up in the air. I do want to hear your theories. Go down into the comments below and let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about the book so far and all of that good stuff. Again, we will be talking movie about Vengeful, which does come out in October. And we'll be talking more about that as we go. And we'll be talking to more creatives on stories they have that they refuse to give up on, like this one, this 10 years in the making. And it's a good one. Yeah, we'll see you real soon for chapter 28 here on the Reader's Corner on Dreamers Defy.